What's up, guys? It's KB. Make sure you subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Click the bell icon down below so you don't miss a single video from us. And thanks for tuning in to another video from Underground Sports Philadelphia. Now let's get into it.
Philadelphia, baby, you're going to love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome into episode number 671 of Underground Sports Philadelphia, presented by the City of Vineland. It's your boy KB coming at you solo dolo after an Eagles win on Friday Night Lights in Brazil against the Packers. We're going to break it down and figure out where the NFL may try to head next for these international games, and if week one was the move, if the fields need better conditions prior to the teams even stepping foot on the field, and a whole lot more. But before we get into all of that, make sure you guys are following us at Underground PHI on the socials. It's on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitch, you name it, we're on that platform. You can follow me at KBIZZL311 on Twitter and KBIZZLE11 on Instagram and Threads. Subscribe to the podcast feed on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts in audio form. Leave a 5-star rating and review. It goes a long way for helping the show continue to grow. We're ever so close to getting back on track, I promise, and I appreciate the support and everybody standing by strong with us as we get caught up on this show. But keep subscribing on audio and leaving those 5-star reviews. And, of course, subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, youtube.com/@UndergroundSportsPhiladelphia. That is where you get full video episodes of this show twice a week, full video episodes of every show on our network, clips, shorts, live streams, original video content. It's all on our YouTube channel. We're closing in on 1,000 subscribers, which is awesome. That is our end-of-year goal. And once we get there, we're going plaque chasing. We're not stopping. So keep on subscribing, youtube.com/@UndergroundSportsPhiladelphia. And, of course, this show is presented by the City of Vineland. And the City of Vineland Municipal Calendar features city-organized, city-sponsored, and city-affiliated events that are of public interest. The calendar, which is accessible at vinelandcity.org, is a good way for residents and visitors to build awareness, remain engaged with city government, and participate in local events. You can also follow the City of Vineland on social media via their Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube pages. And through these tools, you can stay connected to the community and get important announcements about programs and services offered by the city. Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season. And big thank you to Security 21 Security Systems and Paul J. Gillespie Incorporated for their continued support of this podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the Eagles are 1-0 to start 2024. They get a win in Brazil against the Packers, and my takeaway is Saquon Barkley is him. Thank you to the New York Giants for allowing us to sign him. He is as advertised in terms of being the elite athletic talent that he truly can be when he's behind, one, a competent offensive line, has a competent quarterback getting him the football, whether it's handing it off or passing to him, and he just looks like he has a regenerated and rejuvenated sense on his football career, which is incredible to see. Best Eagles debut since Terrell Owens. And what's not to love? I mean, Saquon fits in here perfectly, and I'm so happy he's here. And I think he's only going to make this offense that much more multi-dimensional, that much more prolific, and he's going to help Jalen Hurts get back to Jalen Hurts that we saw in 2022. He's going to help this offense take new steps forward in what they're capable of doing, and I'm excited for the future of Saquon Barkley in Philadelphia. The other major thing I want to take away from this game is that obviously it happened in Brazil. A lot of people went. The field was less than ideal. So number one, my biggest takeaway here is that the NFL, if they're going to play these games abroad, whether it be in London, Germany, now in Brazil, the NFL needs to, well ahead of time, make sure that these fields are safe conditions. That field was horrendous on Friday night. And I don't care about the stories of, oh, it looked good on Monday and Tuesday, and then all of a sudden it started clumping up. And no, don't give me that. You are sending multi-million-dollar athletes to a foreign country, week 1 no less, where nobody plays in the preseason anymore, which I disagree with, but I digress. And their first taste of NFL action in 9 months, for the most part, is going to be on a field like that. That's beyond dangerous. Just for the overall physical health of the players, the overall mental health of the players, and them feeling comfortable moving forward this season, because you start them out on a surface like that, they're not going to know what to expect, and they're going to be timid moving forward until they kind of get their feet under them. I was very disappointed in seeing what the field conditions were like on Friday night, and I hope Roger Goodell and the NFL as a whole come together and say, hey, we need to make sure that playing conditions are a lot more safe and a lot more conducive to play, so our athletes, our product, that's essentially what these athletes are for the NFL. That is your product, are at 100% tip-top shape. Because unfortunately, Jordan Love got hurt in that game. Now, the environment was cool. The fans came out. A lot of Packers fans, a lot of Eagles fans. Good for them getting there. Everyone seemed to be safe, which I think everyone was overplaying the whole you can't wear green thing. And it was the tip of the cap from Jeffrey Lurie and the Eagles to wear the white and black uniform combo, which I thought looked pretty nice. But, the NFL is going to continue to push the game in a broad sense, and they're going to go to new markets. That's what the whole Pathways program is for, is so that they can eventually have the NFL in multiple markets. And it was obviously kicked off London. That was the Jaguars' home turf. They've moved to Germany. Now they do Brazil. My biggest gripe is that I wish the Brazil game was not in week 1. To start your season on the road in a different country, in a different hemisphere, in a different time zone, on a different traditional day is strange. It didn't feel like the start to the regular season for me. And I don't know when that's going to feel, because our next game is Monday Night Football, so it's a whole lot to, get used to, but it's going to be that way when you travel abroad to play football. It's not always going to be on Sunday. Where does the NFL go is the question from here. Do they go to Australia and New Zealand? Do they go to, Italy, France, Japan? They've played the game in Mexico. Do they go up to Canada and compete with the CFL fandom there? Do you go to Puerto Rico? Do you go to, let's see where the NFL Pathways locations are, and we'll see where these academies are set up and where we could see the NFL potentially going beyond 2024. Obviously, Brazil, England, and Germany are on the list already. So when it comes to the pathways, like, you have players in the NFL from Chile, from France, the UK, the Dominican Republic, Australia, Ireland, Mexico, Africa, a lot from Nigeria, Italy, Austria, Germany. It would not shock me if we get an NFL Africa game. It would not shock me if we get an NFL Australia/New Zealand game. It would not shock me if we get an NFL, more NFL games in South America. It would not shock me if we get an NFL game in Ireland. At the end of the day, it boils down to the NFL is trying to make money anywhere they possibly can, and they're going to squeeze that as much as possible. It's just a matter of where do they attempt to pull it from. And I think Brazil was one of their first tests outside of the UK, outside of Germany, outside of Europe. I genuinely think the next spot they try to push forward to is somewhere Australia, New Zealand-esque. With the Australian rules football, a lot of punters come from Australia. Jordan Mailata's obviously turned into an all-pro left tackle from down under. So it would not shock me in the slightest if that's the next spot. But it makes you think of where the NFL wants to push this. How far do they push it before it translates into the NFL effectively having a foreign league that is maybe something that competes with a UFL, with college football, with these other feeder programs essentially to the NFL, where the NFL owns it and it's just abroad, and each team has a foreign academy that they're pulling players from year over year. It would not shock me. It feels like the NFL's trying to compete with baseball in that sense of having these like foreign pathways programs and getting guys from different countries to play football, because when the best athletes are playing your sport, that's when it's at its peak. You see it in soccer, you see it in baseball, and that's why those sports have so many foreign and international players, because there's academies there for these teams to go and move forward throughout their systems and everything and start playing at a young age. It's only a matter of time before the NFL gets to that point, and I think it's pretty close in that rearview mirror. Objects in the mirror appear closer than they actually are. So it would not shock me if we start seeing the NFL forming academies in foreign countries to get younger athletes and foreign athletes playing American football. It feels like it's one of those inevitabilities, and I think it's going to happen in London. I think it's going to happen in Germany. I think it could happen in Italy, in France, in Ireland. It could happen certainly in Mexico. Definitely could happen in Puerto Rico. Could definitely happen in the Dominican Republic. You could see it in Brazil now. You could see it in a lot of countries in South America. I think you could see it in Canada. I think you could see it in New Zealand and Australia. I think you could see it in Japan. I think you could see it in Greece. I think you could see it in a lot of countries, and in Africa as well, all across the continent of Africa. I think you could see it happen as well. It's just a matter of how much resource does the NFL want to push into it, and how quickly do they want to expand to different markets, and how quickly is too quickly. You don't want to overdo it too fast to where it fails off the rip. You want to be calculated. You got a lot of data and a lot of insight from going to London and adding multiple London games. And then you go to Germany, and now you've started to get data on that. And now this year, it's like, okay, let's go to South America and start getting data on Brazil. It's not going to surprise me when we have a Brazil game every single year now. So it's only a matter of time until we start seeing academies pop up a lot more frequently, and the Pathways program in the NFL just evolving into something that's bigger than it already is. And year over year, we start seeing players on all 32 teams coming from international football academies.
I'm Mayor Anthony Finucci. If you're looking for the right location, think Vineland, New Jersey. Our pro-business approach is supported by financial incentives, workforce development programs, and other resources which can give your business a competitive edge. Whether you're starting a new business or expanding to new markets, our business environment, infrastructure, accessibility, and quality of life make Vineland an ideal location. More information about how we can help your business grow can be found at vinelandcity.org. Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season.
So where do you want to see the NFL go? Where is the most ideal location for the NFL to start popping up? Does an NFL team adopt one of these markets, kind of like the Jaguars have with London? I could see that for sure. I think that's what they're kind of play testing with Germany right now and figuring out what team adopts Germany and makes Germany kind of like their foreign home away from home. I could see that happening with Brazil. I could see that happening within Australia. And that is ultimately, I think, where the NFL inserts another game into the schedule and adds that next bye week. I think every team's going to end up playing a game abroad in the next couple of years on their schedule. You're going to have teams start their season abroad, or, throughout the season, they'll be abroad for a game. I could also see them taking the preseason and putting that abroad, so that way it's fans getting acclimated to just football in general. I don't know. It is interesting. I do think we're going to see a few more teams be like the Jaguars and kind of adopt a foreign and abroad city where they're not necessarily the London Jaguars, but we joke about that and say that they are. But I think we see a team get adopted by Germany. I think we see a team get adopted by Brazil. I think we see a team get adopted by Ireland, Australia, New Zealand, Mexico. Multiple teams get adopted in Africa. And I think that's kind of what the Pathways program is. There's a lot of teams right now where, like, their foreign market is this team, and this team. That country or that nation has adopted those teams. That's a whole initiative from the NFL. So it will be interesting to see how that continues to shake out. I'm glad for the most part everyone got back from Brazil healthy, and now the Eagles kind of have a longer mini bye week before they play on Monday Night Football. Saquon was impressive. A.J. Brown looked great. Jalen looked awesome. The O-line was solid. The defense, like I mentioned, is my biggest concern. You got away with the offense performing at an elite clip and putting up 30-plus points. Defense still gave up 29 points. The defense got lucky that they held the Packers on those first two drives after the turnovers to 6 points rather than 14, rather than 12, rather than 13, whatever it may be. They didn't give up touchdowns. They gave up field goals, and they got lucky in that regard. That's not going to happen every time, though, and that's something that I'm a bit concerned about with the defense is how well they're going to be able to adapt to just figuring things out in this new scheme and a lot of this talent having to take a step forward. There's a lot of question marks still about this defense, and I mean, Hassan Reddick's not walking through that door. Fletcher Cox is not walking through that door. You need the Jalen Carters and the Milton Williams and the Jordan Davises and Bryce Huff, who was not good in this game. Definitely one of the negatives. You need the young guys on this team to step up and play a huge role for this team to have success. And that was one of my keys to success for this season. If the Eagles want to get back to the Super Bowl, they're going to have this defense and the young pieces that they are investing playtime and capital in to take that next jump forward. Still remains to be seen. It's still early in the season. It's only one game. But that is something that I am keeping a huge eye on with this defense, because if the defense doesn't come through, they're in a world of hurt and a world of trouble, because you can't rely on the offense to go out on the field and score every possession. It's just not going to happen every game. You're going to have games where you're going to need the defense to step up. And right now, I just don't know if they have enough talent on the defense to do that. They're playing a lot of young guys, a lot of rookies. And they're all in a new system under Vic Fangio. So there's a lot to be concerned about with the defense. You can still be thrilled that, we won the game, but this is by far not a perfect game whatsoever for this Eagles team. Now they come back, Monday Night Football, a lot of pomp and circumstance. It's a Nick Foles retirement game, Jason Kelsey's first Monday Night Football game in Philly since he retired, and, who knows how that shakes out, but there is a tough go. And I mean, the Saints look good, and you have the Saints after the Falcons. And then you have Tampa Bay, who also look good before. That's your first 4 games. It's a tough start to the season and a tough schedule overall for this Eagles football team. And there's going to be, I think, a lot of rude awakenings for fans and for players on this team as this season progresses. And I think you have every right to be happy that they won, but have every right to be concerned about the way that the defense performed, about some of the turnovers that the Eagles had. But I think the turnovers on offense are a lot more fixable right off the rip than the defensive performance. That's going to take time. It's going to be interesting to watch. It's going to be fascinating to watch how it all plays out, but I'm happy the Eagles are coming back from Brazil 1-0. I'm still optimistic about this season. I still think they can win the division. I still think they can go on a playoff run, but it's going to be a lot harder than I think a lot of people expected, and that's okay. That's okay to adjust how you're feeling after 1 week of play. Because now you've seen them play in-game action. That's a huge key to this. So I'm excited for what's to come. I'm glad we're coming back from Brazil healthy. Best of luck and best of health to Jordan Love as he recovers from his injury. Hopefully it's nothing overly serious. But the Eagles are 1-0. Not every team is 1-0 in the NFL. So that's a huge thing to take away from this. And hopefully, as we push forward and get ready for Monday Night Football, this team is locked in so that they can improve to 2-0 and keep things rolling, keep the good vibes flowing. Otherwise, it's going to get ugly real quick. It's going to get ugly real quick. So, slowly but surely catching up on this show. I am actively looking for a co-host, and I think towards the end of September and into October, I'm going to be testing some things out, reaching out to some people, getting some guest hosts on, because I think the show is better when I have somebody to banter with rather than me kind of just quickly flowing through thoughts. So if you know somebody who you think would be great on this show, leave them in the YouTube comment section. Tag their channel if they have a channel. Would love to see what we can cook up, but I do have some people in mind that I'm excited to reach out to and hopefully gauge their interest on things. But we are actively onboarding, so if you feel like you fit the bill for this company and want to grow alongside one of the newest upstarts in the biz, by new, I mean, we've been around since 2018, but hey, we're relatively new in the space. We have not been around for over a decade. But we're growing, we're learning, and we want you to join our team. Click the link in the description and fill out that application if you fit the bill for anything we're looking to onboard. Slowly but surely catching up. PLO postseason is rolling on. We'll have Championship Media Day, which you'll hear from a lot of the Philly guys on this show. Not on the next episode, but the following, because I'll have Media Day this coming Friday. And I'm excited to share those interviews with you guys on this show and the way that the PLL gives us access and supports this company and all of our shows is awesome. So we're going to showcase a lot of the Philly guys that are competing in the championship game. So we'll see who we get on the show at Radio Row for Media Day. So stay tuned for that for sure. That's going to be an awesome episode. But make sure you guys are following us on the socials at Underground PHI, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitch, you name it, we're on there. Follow me at KBICZL311 and KBICZLE11 on Instagram and Threads. Subscribe to the podcast feed, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts in audio form. And subscribe to the all-new Guzman's Gridiron RSS feed, which is on Apple, Spotify. It still remains on this feed, but it's also got its own feed. So if you just want to listen to that show and that show only, which, hey, little offense taken, but I digress. Subscribe to that one. Subscribe to this podcast feed as well. Subscribe to all of our shows. God damn it. Subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, youtube.com/@UndergroundSportsPhiladelphia. Hit the like button. Leave a comment down below. Your thoughts on the Eagles. 1-0 start. Let me know if there's somebody on the interwebs that you feel like would be a great co-host on this show. And anything else that comes to mind. We'll read the good comments on this show. And, of course, ring the bell icon so you know when new videos go live. And this show is presented by the City of Vineland. And whether you're a company looking to expand, relocate, or you're a new business startup, selecting the right location is critical to your success. Vineland, New Jersey offers both an affordable business location and an excellent quality of life. The city's economic development department is a one-stop source for moving your project through the development and approval process. And their goal is to make this process as smooth as possible and to provide the fastest turnaround times in the region. If you're considering potential locations for your operation, contact the Vineland Economic Development Team at 856-794-4100. That's 856-794-4100. Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season. And big thank you to Security 21 Security Systems and Paul J. Gillespie Incorporated for their continued support of this podcast. This has been episode number 671 of Underground Sports Philadelphia. I'll be back. We're so close to being caught up, and I can't wait to be back on track, bringing up to the minute news on this show regarding all your favorite Philly sports teams, guests, all that good stuff. But until the next episode, I'm getting the heck up out of here, and I'm signing off. Peace.